Beloved soul, before we begin, pause for a moment because angels say this message is not random. If you are here right now, it is because heaven aligned this moment for you. Angels say someone's heart already belongs to you. Not partially, not casually, completely. But there is one powerful reason that has kept them silent, and today, heaven is revealing it. Before you go any further, do 3 simple things to align with this message. Like this video to signal heaven that you are open to confirmation. Subscribe to Angels Whispers Truth for daily angel messages and divine insight. Comment "I receive this" to activate this word over your life. Angels say those who engage do not miss what God is about to reveal. Now listen carefully. You may have felt it, a pull you couldn't explain. A connection that lingered even in silence. A sense that someone thinks of you more than they admit. Angels whisper that your intuition was not wrong. Someone's heart chose you quietly, deeply, and sincerely. Yet they have remained silent not because they don't care, but because this one reason has held them back. The Bible reminds us, "The secret of the Lord is with them that fear him, and he will show them his covenant." Psalm 25:14. Angels say today, a secret is being revealed. Throughout this message, you will hear 8 angel-guided revelations, each building upon the last, explaining why their heart belongs to you, what they see in you that they cannot forget, why silence has been their shield, what God has been preparing behind the scenes, and how divine timing is now shifting. Each segment carries biblical confirmation, spiritual clarity, and angelic insight meant to calm your heart, not confuse it. Angels say, do not rush this message. Let it unfold. Let it speak to you. If at any moment you feel emotional, pause. Angels say that is recognition, not coincidence. By the end of this message, you will understand why the silence was necessary and what comes next. Stay with me. Angels say this connection did not begin with words. It began with recognition. Before this person ever considered speaking, explaining, or confessing, their heart had already chosen you. Not impulsively, not emotionally, but deeply and intentionally. The Bible tells us, "Man looketh on the outward appearance, but the Lord looketh on the heart." 1 Samuel 16:7. Angels whisper that this is exactly how their heart found yours, through what others often overlook. They noticed your spirit before your smile, your character before your presence, your consistency before your charm. Angels say this person observed you in moments when you were not trying to be noticed. They saw how you treated people who could give you nothing in return. They saw how you carried yourself when life was heavy. They saw how you remained kind even when you were tired. And something inside them settled. Angels whisper that when a heart settles, it is because it has found safety. You may not realize it, but your way of being created peace in them. Not excitement that fades, peace that stays. And angels say peace is the language of divine connection. This person noticed how you handled pressure, how you spoke with integrity, how you chose growth instead of bitterness. Angels whisper that growth is attractive to souls seeking permanence, not distraction. Their heart did not rush toward you. It leaned. They felt drawn to you not because you demanded attention, but because you carried authenticity. Angels say authenticity disarms fear. They noticed your quiet strength, the way you kept moving forward without applause. Angels whisper that humility leaves a lasting imprint. You may have questioned your worth during that season. Angels say while you were doubting yourself, their heart was becoming convinced. This is how hearts choose, not loudly, but faithfully. They began comparing others to you without meaning to. Angels whisper that comparison is a sign the heart has already decided. They tried to ignore it at first. Angels say recognition can feel inconvenient when timing feels uncertain, But the feeling did not fade, it deepened. They noticed how you listened not to reply, but to understand, how you made space instead of taking it. Angels whisper that such presence is rare. This person felt understood by you even when you said very little. Angels say souls recognize familiarity beyond words. They began caring about your joy, your peace, your well-being quietly, privately. Angels whisper that true affection grows in silence before it speaks aloud. You may not have noticed the small gestures, the subtle concern, the unspoken protection. Angels say love often reveals itself in restraint. Their heart chose you because you felt safe, not chaotic, because you felt steady, not uncertain, because your life reflected values they wanted to build upon. Angels whisper that your faith, even when imperfect, spoke to them. They saw someone who trusted God through uncertainty. Angels say faith attracts those seeking direction. This choice did not come from loneliness. It came from recognition. They chose you because something about you felt familiar to their future. You may have wondered why they watched quietly, why they stayed reserved. Angels whisper that hearts choose before mouths speak. And angels say this is why the silence exists, because once a heart chooses sincerely, words become sacred. This person did not want to speak until they understood why their heart leaned toward you so strongly. Angels say their heart chose you because you reflect something eternal, something safe enough to build with, pray with, grow with. Angels say this silence was not born from uncertainty, it was born from fear. Not fear of you, fear of losing you. The Bible reveals this truth clearly. The fear of man bringeth a snare, but whoso putteth his trust in the Lord shall be safe. Proverbs 29:25. Angels whisper that when a heart values something deeply, it becomes careful, sometimes too careful. This person's heart belongs to you, but their silence has been a shield. They feared that speaking too soon, too clumsily, or without perfect timing could damage what feels precious to them. They did not want to risk changing the dynamic before they were ready to protect it. Angels say this person understands the weight of words. They know that once spoken, feelings cannot be taken back. Silence felt safer than regret. You may have interpreted the quiet as distance. Angels whisper it was protection. This person has experienced loss before, times when vulnerability cost them deeply. Angels say past wounds can make sincere hearts cautious. They feared rejection not because they doubted your worth, but because they knew how deeply it would affect them if you did not feel the same. This fear was not weakness. Angels whisper it was investment. They imagined what could happen if they spoke and everything changed. They wondered if your connection would become awkward, strained, or lost entirely. Angels say when someone values peace, they hesitate to disturb it. This person feared that confession would force a decision before God's timing was clear. They prayed quietly, waited patiently, asked God for clarity before courage. Angels whisper that such restraint is rare. You may have felt moments of closeness followed by distance. Angels say that was their internal struggle, the heart leaning in while the mind pulled back. They didn't want to confess until they could stand behind their words with action. Angels whisper that integrity delays speech until responsibility catches up with emotion. This person feared becoming a distraction rather than a blessing in your life. Angels say that concern reflects respect. They did not want to compete with your healing, your growth, or your walk with God. Angels whisper that real love wants to add peace, not pressure. You may have thought, if they felt this strongly, they would speak. Angels say not all hearts speak quickly, some wait, because they understand the cost of honesty. They feared misreading God's timing. Angels whisper that divine alignment matters deeply to them. This silence was not a test for you, it was a trial for them. They watched carefully. They listened deeply. They paid attention to your words, your reactions, your boundaries. Angels say they were learning how to honor you. They feared saying too much, or saying it wrong, or saying it before God finished preparing them. This person knows their heart is not half committed, and that realization made them cautious. Angels whisper that half-ready confessions damage full-hearted connections. They did not want to awaken something in you that they could not yet steward. Angels say heaven honors this restraint, even when it feels confusing to you. Their silence was not because love was small. It was because love felt too big to mishandle. This is the one reason they stayed quiet. They valued the connection too deeply to risk it without certainty. And angels say something is shifting now, because the fear that once kept them silent is being outweighed by a stronger truth, the need for honesty. Angels say what felt like waiting was actually working. What felt like delay was divine development. And what felt like silence was God's classroom. The Bible confirms this truth. Being confident of this very thing, that he which hath begun a good work in you will perform it until the day of Jesus Christ. Philippians 1:6. Angels whisper that God never allows silence without purpose. While you were wondering why nothing was happening, God was shaping hearts. While you questioned timing, heaven was aligning character. Angels say preparation often happens in stillness, not movement. This silence was not empty, it was intentional. God was strengthening you emotionally, teaching you discernment, helping you heal patterns that could not enter the next season. Angels whisper that God protects future joy by refining present understanding. You were learning how to love without losing yourself, how to stand firm without becoming closed. Angels say those lessons were necessary. At the same time, God was working deeply within them. They were being taught courage, not reckless courage, but obedient courage. Angels whisper that speaking truth requires spiritual maturity. God was confronting their fear of loss, their hesitation, their tendency to overthink. Angels say heaven was teaching them that obedience matters more than comfort. This silence became a mirror for both of you. You were learning patience. They were learning boldness. Angels whisper that divine connections grow through complementary refinement. You may have felt moments of confusion sensing connection but seeing no movement. Angels say that tension was purposeful. It sharpened awareness without forcing action. God was removing illusion, removing urgency, removing fantasy. Angels whisper that only what is real survives waiting. During this time, God was also protecting the connection from premature exposure. Angels say some things must mature in secret before they are spoken aloud. Had this confession come earlier, it may have been fueled by emotion alone. Angels whisper that now it will be grounded in intention. God was aligning timing with readiness. You were being prepared to receive truth without fear. They were being prepared to speak truth without hiding. Angels say heaven does not rush what it intends to sustain. You may have grown spiritually during this season, more aware, more prayerful, more discerning. Angels whisper that growth was not accidental. They too were changing, becoming more honest with themselves, more certain of what they want, more willing to risk vulnerability. Angels say clarity follows surrender. This silence allowed God to remove distractions, to quiet competing voices. Angels whisper that clarity requires stillness. There were moments you both felt pulled toward one another, even without communication. Angels say spiritual alignment does not need constant contact. God was teaching you trust not in the outcome, but in His process. Angels whisper that when God is preparing something meaningful, He prepares both sides equally, though differently. You may have prayed for confirmation. They prayed for courage. Angels say both prayers were heard. This silence strengthened the foundation. It allowed truth to deepen without pressure. Angels whisper that pressure distorts purpose. Now, angels say the season of preparation is nearing completion. What once needed silence now requires honesty. God has been removing the very fear that once kept them quiet. Angels whisper that obedience is rising. And you are no longer the same person you were when this connection first began. You are wiser, stronger, more discerning. Angels say you are ready to hear what once might have unsettled you. They are no longer running from truth. They are preparing to stand in it. This is why angels say the silence is about to break. Because preparation has reached maturity. Angels say there comes a moment when silence stops being protection and starts becoming disobedience. That moment is approaching now. The Bible declares, "For there is nothing covered that shall not be revealed, neither hid that shall not be known." Luke 12:2. Angels whisper that truth has a voice, and when God appoints the time, that voice must speak. What once felt manageable to keep inside has grown too heavy to carry alone. This person has reached a place where their heart is no longer at peace with staying quiet. Angels say conviction has replaced fear. They feel an internal urgency, not anxiety but prompting, a gentle pressure from the Spirit saying, "It's time." This is not impulsive. This is obedience. Angels say the silence is breaking because clarity has arrived. They are no longer questioning what they feel. They are wrestling with how to express it faithfully. Angels whisper that once clarity is present, delay becomes resistance. This person has realized that staying silent risks something greater than rejection, missing God's timing. They sense that if they wait longer, the opportunity to speak truth in season may pass. Angels say discernment sharpens when destiny approaches. You may notice subtle shifts, increased openness, deeper conversations, longer pauses. Angels whisper that these are signs of inner preparation. They are rehearsing courage not with words, but with surrender. Angels say God has been reminding them that love hidden too long becomes a burden, not a blessing. They are beginning to understand that silence once protected the connection, but now, honesty is what will preserve it. This realization did not come suddenly. It came through prayer, reflection, and spiritual discomfort. Angels whisper that discomfort often precedes obedience. They feel a responsibility to honor what God has built, and that means speaking with integrity. This person is not preparing to confess to relieve their emotions. They are preparing to respect yours. They want to speak in a way that gives you clarity, not confusion, peace, not pressure. Angels say that desire reflects maturity. You may have felt a recent emotional stirring, a sense that something is shifting. Angels whisper that your spirit is perceiving alignment before your mind understands it. This is why angels say the confession will feel sudden, because the inner decision has already been made. Once a heart decides to obey God rather than fear loss, silence dissolves. They are no longer waiting for a perfect moment. They are waiting for a real one. Angels say God often uses ordinary moments to release extraordinary truth. A quiet conversation, a simple question, an honest pause. And when the silence breaks, it will not sound dramatic, it will sound sincere. This person will speak with humility, not expectation, with honesty, not demand. Angels whisper that heaven honors that posture. They are aware that words will change the atmosphere between you, and they are ready to accept that responsibility. Angels say this is the sign you've been waiting for, not fireworks, but readiness. The truth can no longer be contained because it has matured. And now, angels say something important. What happens next depends not on fear, but on how truth is received. Angels say it is important for you to understand this clearly. This confession is not a demand, it is an invitation. The Bible reminds us, "Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice and open the door, I will come in." Revelation 3:20. Angels whisper that true love knocks, it does not force its way in. When this person finally speaks, they are not asking you to decide your entire future in a single moment. They are not expecting certainty, perfection, or immediate commitment. Angels say what they are truly offering is honesty wrapped in respect. Their confession is saying, "I trust you with my truth." That alone carries weight. Angels say many people confess feelings to relieve themselves, but this person is confessing to honor the connection. They want you to know what has been living quietly in their heart, not to pressure you, but to stop hiding. They are aware that truth changes dynamics. Angels whisper that they are willing to accept whatever clarity follows, even if it means moving slowly. This confession is asking one thing from you: presence. Presence to listen. Presence to feel. Presence to respond honestly, not reflexively. Angels say heaven values how truth is received as much as how it is spoken. You are allowed to take time, allowed to ask questions, allowed to sit with your emotions. Angels whisper that wisdom often moves slower than emotion. This person is not measuring your worth by your response. They already chose you. Angels say that choice came before words. They are offering transparency, something they did not give easily. Angels whisper that transparency is sacred currency. You may feel pressure rising inside, pressure to say the right thing. Angels say release that burden. There is no script here, only sincerity. If you feel joy, let it show. If you feel uncertainty, speak it gently. If you need space, ask for it honestly. Angels whisper that God honors truth spoken in love, even when it is incomplete. This confession is not a test of your readiness for marriage or permanence. It is a bridge from silence to honesty. You are being invited into clarity, not obligation. Angels say the enemy often distorts moments like this by whispering fear. What if you choose wrong? What if you hurt them? What if this changes everything? Angels whisper back, truth already changed everything, now peace can enter. Your response will shape the pace, not the purpose. God remains in control of direction. This is a moment to remain grounded in prayer, even silently. Angels say asking God for wisdom in the moment invites peace. You are not responsible for managing their emotions. You are responsible for honoring your own heart. This person understands that. That is why they waited. Angels whisper that they respect your process as much as their own. If you feel hesitation, angels say examine whether it comes from fear or discernment. Fear rushes. Discernment breathes. This confession is not closing doors, it is opening conversation. And angels say conversations guided by truth often lead to alignment. You may notice that after the confession, the atmosphere feels lighter even if answers are not immediate. Angels whisper that truth releases tension. This moment is about trust on both sides. They trusted you with their heart. You are now invited to trust God with your response. And angels say something powerful here. You are not being asked to carry the future, only to carry honesty into the present. Angels say you are not standing in this moment alone. Even if your emotions feel stirred, uncertain, or tender, God Himself is guarding your discernment. You are not being asked to figure everything out by yourself. The Bible assures you, if any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of God, that giveth to all men liberally and upbraideth not, and it shall be given him. James 1:5. Angels whisper that wisdom is not something you must chase, it is something God gladly gives. This is why angels say you do not need to panic, rush, or pressure yourself for clarity. Divine guidance often arrives gently, not forcefully. God does not confuse, He confirms. You may feel multiple emotions at once: hope, caution, warmth, vulnerability. Angels say this does not mean confusion, it means you care. God is watching your heart carefully in this moment, not to test you, but to protect you. Angels whisper that protection often looks like peace that settles slowly rather than answers that arrive suddenly. If something is meant to grow, God will not require haste. Angels say what is divinely aligned will not need to be forced. Your discernment right now is sharpened by everything you've already lived through. Your past taught you what to watch for. Your healing taught you what you deserve. Angels whisper that experience becomes wisdom when surrendered to God. You may sense moments of calm clarity between emotional waves. Angels say those moments are where God speaks most clearly. God is helping you distinguish between excitement and peace. Angels whisper that excitement fades, but peace remains. This person's confession does not override your discernment, it invites it. Angels say genuine love welcomes wisdom. You are allowed to say, I need time to pray. You are allowed to say, I want to move slowly. You are allowed to say, I want clarity before commitment. Angels whisper that boundaries are not rejection, they are stewardship. God is not asking you to abandon your standards for the sake of connection. Angels say divine love never requires compromise of values. If this connection is from God, it will withstand prayer, patience, and process. Angels whisper that what is fragile under wisdom was never solid to begin with. You may feel God reminding you of past lessons not to frighten you, but to guide you. Angels say memory can be a tool of discernment when paired with faith. Notice how your body responds, how your spirit reacts. Angels whisper that God often speaks through inner peace. You do not need to decode signs obsessively. God is not hiding His will from you. Angels say when God wants you to know, He makes it clear often repeatedly. Your role is not to control the outcome. Your role is to remain honest, prayerful, and grounded. This moment is not about pressure, it is about alignment. Angels say heaven is gently leading you step by step, not pushing you off a cliff of decision. You may feel guided to ask deeper questions, to observe actions, not just words. Angels whisper that discernment listens beyond language. God is also watching how this person honors your pace. Angels say respect is a sign of divine alignment. If they truly value what God is building, they will not rush what God is protecting. You are not behind. You are not late. You are not missing anything. Angels whisper that divine timing cannot be sabotaged by patience. Trust that God is working through your calm moments as much as your emotional ones. This season is about clarity without fear. Angels say you are allowed to feel without being led by feeling. You are allowed to hope without losing wisdom. God is near in this moment, closer than you realize. And angels say this clearly. If this connection is meant to continue, God Himself will sustain it. You do not have to carry it alone. Angels say once truth is spoken, heaven shifts its focus. Before the confession, God was preparing hearts. After the confession, God watches behavior. The Bible makes this clear. Even so faith, if it hath not works, is dead, being alone. James 2:17. Angels whisper that words can open doors, but actions determine whether someone is worthy to walk through them. This is why angels say you do not need to analyze every sentence they spoke. You do not need to replay the confession repeatedly in your mind. Heaven is far more interested in what follows. Does their behavior align with their words? Do they show consistency, not intensity? Do they honor your pace, not pressure it? Angels say these are the questions that matter now. God is watching how they show up after vulnerability. Anyone can speak when emotions are high, but love proves itself in steadiness. Angels whisper that steadiness is a sign of maturity. If this person's heart truly belongs to you, their actions will reflect care, patience, and respect. Angels say genuine love does not rush to secure, it waits to build. Notice how they communicate. Are they clear, calm, and present? Angels whisper that communication reveals intention. Notice how they handle your boundaries. Do they honor them without resentment? Angels say boundaries expose character. Notice whether they remain consistent when emotions settle. Angels whisper that consistency reveals sincerity. God is not asking you to test them. He is inviting you to observe peacefully. You do not need to confront or demand proof. Angels say time itself reveals truth. This is a season to let things unfold naturally, without forcing outcomes. Angels whisper that what is real does not need constant reassurance. If they truly meant what they said, their actions will grow quieter, not louder, more intentional, not dramatic. Angels say heaven values reliability over intensity. You may feel tempted to overinterpret small changes. Angels whisper that discernment watches patterns, not moments. God is also watching how you respond now, not to judge you, but to protect you. Are you remaining grounded? Are you staying prayerful? Are you honoring your own peace? Angels say do not abandon wisdom just because honesty finally arrived. This is not the season to rush into labels or promises. It is the season to see whether truth is followed by faithfulness. If they are truly aligned with God's timing, they will not grow impatient with your discernment. Angels whisper that patience is proof of respect. If they continue to show up with kindness, clarity, and humility, angels say that is confirmation, not excitement alone. You may feel moments of joy mixed with caution. Angels whisper that balance is healthy. This is the season where trust begins to form, not because you were convinced, but because they proved themselves over time. God is not asking you to protect yourself through distance. He is asking you to protect yourself through discernment. Let action speak, let peace lead, let prayer guide. Angels say this is where many people rush and miss clarity. Do not rush. What is meant for you will not leave because you moved slowly. Angels whisper that divine connections are not fragile. If this person truly belongs in your life, their actions will make room for God, not push him aside. They will respect prayer, respect growth, respect timing. Angels say these are signs of alignment. You do not need to chase confirmation. Confirmation will follow consistency. And angels say something important here. God never reveals truth just to confuse you. He reveals it to bring peace. If peace is increasing, that is a sign to continue forward gently. If peace is decreasing, that is a sign to pause and pray. Trust what God is showing you now, not what you hope will happen later. Because angels say the final revelation is this: when something is truly from God, it does not require fear to sustain it. Angels say every season God begins, He completes with clarity. This moment in your life is not meant to leave you wondering, anxious, or emotionally unsettled. Whether this connection deepens into covenant or gently redirects your path, heaven's purpose is the same: your peace. The Bible promises, "And let the peace of God rule in your hearts, to the which also ye are called in one body, and be ye thankful." Colossians 3:15. Angels whisper that peace is not a feeling you chase, it is a signal God gives. This season was never about confusion, it was about revelation. Someone's heart belonging to you was not revealed to inflate ego or stir longing without direction. Angels say it was revealed to bring truth into the light, where God can guide what happens next. If this connection is meant to grow, God will supply. Mutual effort, aligned values, increasing peace, clear communication, consistent action. Angels whisper that God does not build lasting unions on uncertainty. You will not need to guess where you stand. You will not need to interpret silence again. Angels say what is divinely sustained becomes clear, steady, and secure. And if God chooses to redirect this connection, angels say that too is love. Because redirection is protection. God sometimes reveals someone's feelings not to unite two paths, but to close a chapter with truth instead of questions. Angels whisper that unanswered questions create soul ties, but truth brings release. Either way, this season ends in freedom. You are not losing anything. You are gaining clarity. Angels say God values your heart too much to leave it in limbo. You may notice that after this season, you feel lighter, not heavier, more grounded, not confused. Angels whisper that is the sign God has finished his work here. Whatever remains will be aligned with peace. If this connection continues, it will feel mutual, intentional, and God-centered. If it concludes, it will do so without regret, resentment, or lingering doubt. Angels say both outcomes are acts of divine love. You were never meant to chase someone's heart. You were meant to walk in truth and let God align what belongs with you. And angels say this clearly. What is truly meant for you will not require silence, fear, or confusion to survive. God is not finished blessing you. This was one step, not the destination. Beloved soul, if this message spoke to your heart, do not leave without responding. Like this video to confirm you receive this clarity. Comment, "I receive God's peace," or share what resonated most. Subscribe to Angels Whispers Truth for daily angel messages, biblical encouragement, and divine guidance. Angels say when you engage, you remain aligned with heaven's instruction. Stay connected, stay discerning, stay faithful. More messages are coming, and they are meant for you.